Hey guys, how you doing? So, some of you wanted to see the knife after the suntan, and here it is. I don't know if you can see from the video right now how much it changed the color. I guess you can, if you go back, but what I'm gonna do, I'll put in the pictures of before and after, I'll cut it here and show you the pictures, so check it out. Hank, there it was. So pretty cool now. It doesn't look a lot when I came home and seeing it after the whole day being on the sun, it didn't appear like a lot, but when I actually went back and look at the pictures from yesterday and today, I took the same exact picture on the same exact lighting, same exact spot, same exact camera. It was quite a big difference, and now you see that kind of funky greenish color, and I really like it. Now the red is nice in there. Really like this knife. Somebody said that they like the knives, but they think kind of that my handles are kind of funky, and I wasn't sure if he meant the shaping and the way I shaped them, but they're actually shaped this way for a reason. And I mean, a lot of knives, even the custom I just picked up because out of all the knives I have, this is actually kind of the best representation of what the regular hand on a lot of knives is. Very often on many knives, all of this is flat. Now some people do that slight curve here, so you have that kind of like an hourglass shape, but very often there's a lot of flats here on the knives, here and here. Then you have very often, and I think this is actually a pretty big mistake, at least in my opinion, for what I've noticed on the knives, the finger choil. Not many people do really nice and pronounced finger choil like you see here. You see that the radius, that big deep finger choil. Two reasons. It locks in your finger really well, because bend your finger, your finger is not square, your finger doesn't bend square. You don't have the knife like this, in the bottom of a knife is not here on this flat and like that. The bottom of the knife is always in here, in this curve. So when you bend your finger, you see the shape of it. So naturally you kind of want that really pronounced finger choil. A lot of knife makers don't do that. I actually even see knife makers where they don't really do finger choils at all, or knife companies. And same goes with this. Your handle, when you put your hand in, your hand is naturally oval, kind of curved, like round, like most natural thing is a hammer. If you look at the hammer handles, axes, all the tools that you use always is round, same like the broomsticks and everything. Everything is round because it's very natural for your hand to hold on the round thing. So that's why you actually see that I try to round everything, not a single flat spot on my handles, everywhere, because it's more natural. And the way I secure the handle from twisting in your hand is, if you notice, those two kind of big radiuses here, they kind of come to like a pyramid on the bottom. That's what locks your grip in the knife, because again, when you close your hand, you have the gap here. It's not perfectly round, but you have kind of gap here that comes to like a triangle, to the peak. That's why if you were cut the knife like across, you would end up with something like that on the bottom, the bottom of the handle. That's what locks in here and prevents the knife from spinning. Some knife makers achieve that security of not spinning the knife in the hand by having that flat, because it kind of locks in. But I kind of do them so they are comfortable, very natural grip, but also secure in all ways. In spinning way, it doesn't spin, and also up and down. This knife will not go out of your hand unless you actually let go. Just like if you happen to watch Cliffstam's video, he was talking about some other knife and some grip issue. This is the shaping locking. It's not the abrasion locking, it's no other locking, it's locked in your hand by shape, the way the handle is shaped. That's why you also don't see me do a jimping, because you just don't need it. That knife, that hand of the knife is not going anywhere unless you let go of your hand. It just physically can. If you hold your hand close, it physically cannot, because this is wider here, this is wider there, it cannot go either way. So kind of wanted to explain that. Hopefully you got that. So this it might look funky compared to a lot of other handles, handles, but I do a lot of work with them. I test them thoroughly, so you can see that you know, it's not just done for looks, it's actually done for purpose. And I'm very happy with it. And if you talk to the people who got my knives, everybody loves them. They are nice. And the funny thing is that even though they are so kind of, you know, untraditional shaped, these handles are actually quite comfortable even in the chest level grip. You know, if you grab it like this little, you know, like this piece of skin here kind of actually falls into the finger choil. This I never leave too sharp, too abrasive, so it's actually pretty comfortable, and you can actually really put some force down even in the chest level grip this way. Which it might appear weird when you see that handle shape, but when you actually handle it, it is very comfortable even in this grip. Like, you know, the finger choil does not come in the way, you don't really feel it in the bottom of your hand, and it's very still very positive lock. Again, same reasons, butt is always widened, and it locks in that index finger just as well by this port, you know, this kind of meat on your hand. So that's about it. I wanted to show you one more thing. I fixed up my own EDC. Some of you, very few of you know, my EDC had the big gaps here for some reason. When I did that, this one has a crazy taper tank. Look how this comes to like super thin. And actually, for the longest time, I didn't know what was wrong. I never got back to it. But I thought that I just did really bad job on the tapering of the tank. But actually happened a combination of the handle scale itself actually wasn't flat on the inside where I was expecting it to be flat, and also when I did the taper tank and then I clean up the flats, because I always do the taper tank before I do the grind, so I still have flat here. That gives you a good idea, like you've seen in the video where I show how I do it. I actually went with the flat. When I cleaned up the flat after the taper tank, I actually cleaned up flat going past the beginning of the handle, so you actually had this risen up, this was up and this was on the bottom, so it kind of again created the gap between it. So kind of, you know, one of those things when you like scratching your head like what's going on, why is there a big ugly gap? So that's done. And one more thing what's gonna be coming, you guys might enjoy. It's kind of funny one, kind of insane. Some people will be like, you know, doing big palm, head palm. Got the Hinderer XM18 Spanto 3.5 inch from my buddy Seth. Pretty cool guy, very nice knives. He's a friend of mine through Tough Thumbs. He stops by there once in a while, and he asked me about this wild bag, and I said, you know, yeah, I want to do that if you're ever interested, you know, when it comes to that. And he wanted me to regrind one of his Hinderers. So the time came when he said, you know, I got this one, the user that it's been scratched a lot. Meanwhile, it wasn't. I think that was just a real excuse. And he wants me to regrind it. He wants to have a Hinderer with like a convex grind, you know, like let's call it higher performer, not the durability edge, but just like nice, good cutter. And I actually think even when I bring this really up high, it's still gonna be plenty strong because it's a nice beefy stack. So it's not gonna be some, you know, it's not gonna be no kitchen knife. It's still gonna be a good knife. And I gotta say, this is one of the smoothest Hinderers I've ever got. It's really super smooth. So that's gonna be coming, and I'll probably actually do a video. I kind of gonna feel bad about it, but it's gonna show nice. It's gonna show nicely. I'll do couple basic cut tests with this before I grind it and then after I grind it, and see the difference. The main idea of the reground is that the very edge is still gonna be untouched, you know, it's still gonna get the same edge as it is now, and it's just gonna get thinned down right behind the edge and up, bring the grind higher up, and that's about it. And I've actually seen that this one was reprofiled by somebody. Normally it has a much lower secondary bevel on Hinderers and a lot steeper angle, so it looks like somebody actually did reprofile this on a wicked edge. You know, they knocked off that shoulder between the secondary and primary grind, and to make the relief edge come a little higher. And I'm sure that even just that alone increased the performance by a lot, because they come with the, you know, pretty sturdy, like 35-40 degree edge. So I'm sure that even that little job raise the performance of this. But very, very nice knife. I just love Hinderer. Such a really good knives, quality knives. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and remember, don't cut yourself.